What up, brothers? It's the Clipper King returning for a really quick modification video. Couple of things with this Aragorn figure. I have spoke to David Haigh. I don't want to start cutting away at his hair, because if he wants to cut the hair, he can do himself. It's not something I want to be doing to somebody else's figure. He also mentioned to me that we spoke about the outfit being really nice, but the boots are very stiff, and he said kinda lean back. I'm just going to do a couple of little mods on this, and they're really simple to do if anybody wants to do them. The hair, I will say, I have sort of dampened it a little bit, but I am going to display what I'm going to do with the hair. First things first, I'll get the camera set up so I can show you what I'm doing. Right, so first things first, if you feel that any hard sculpted boot like this, all it is, if it's a plastic boot, it's not resin, which this isn't, it's plastic, I can feel that, you can either take them off the ankle peg and do this, or do it while it's on the figure. That's what I'm going to do. This is a bowl of boiling hot water out of a kettle. All I'm going to do is dip it in, so it's just sort of in the ankle area where you would want it to bend. Some people will do this with an airdryer. I don't like using airdryer, because airdryer sometimes gets too hot. Boiling water is never going to do it no damage. The reason I say don't do it if it's a resin boot is because then it will be a painted one. So let me just warm that one up. Now what you can see here is, in that area, it's gone very, very soft and very pliable. And until it cools, it won't lose that position. So, for the sake of doing this, what I want to do is, I've warmed it up enough, I'm going to put him on his stand, in a more natural stance, get his weight on his feet, and slightly lean him forward. If the boots are naturally trying to push him back, now you've warmed them up, just let the boots cool while he's there. Like I said, the boots are very, very, very pliable. So, I mean, even if your sole were curled in a direction you don't want him to do, say you wanted 1 foot forward, 1 back, and make him look natural like that, then it's just a case of warming it back up, letting it reset to how you've got it posed, and the boots will stay like that. That works if you're doing like Batman's cowl. If you've had him in a position and the points of his cowl on the 89 Batman, they're out of line or out of whack, just dip the bottom in warm water, put it back on, and give it a chance to remold back into a position. Right, so that's what I would do with boots, so that's what I've shown. Don't do it no harm, because like I say, it's just warm water on an hard feeling plastic, but obviously the warmth softens it right up. Now, Aragorn's hair, total mess out of the box, we've got to be honest. I have dampened this one down. Maybe I will give it a little blast. In fact, instead of dipping it in, I'm just going to put some water through it, because I think you've got to keep his hair sort of tight into his face, but also keep the kinky wave through it to make it look movie accurate. Like I said, don't start cutting away at layers of hair, because you're going to end up fucking it up, and because of how this hair's plugged, you're going to end up making him look bald as a motherfucker, so don't do that. Right, this technique is something that I stole from doing the Predator mods, the old Predator mods, when the dreads wouldn't lay down. They were the rubberized dreads, if you remember. So basically with Aragorn, to make his hair look accurate, you need a kink, sort of soft perm through it, but you need it quite tight in on his face, and then the weight of the hair sort of to the back. So I think the best way to do this is, if you guys have seen these, they're called loom bands, they were craze last summer. If you've got some elastic bands like that, what I would suggest is do this. Before you put any styling gel on, or out like that, I would put the elastic band across the bridge of his nose, make sure you trap his hair, and get his hair sort of trapped inside the band. That's what I would do. So he's got like and pull his hair through, because in a minute the hair is going to be slicked to his cheeks where you want it, but it's going to have some styling product on it, which will then set, and then I'll cut the bands away when it's set. The next one, I would probably go bottom of his nose, and then straight under his ear. Round back, I won't think about it too much, because you're not going to see it. So like that. And then the third one, I will trap him under the neck and just sort of strangle him with that one. Now all his hair should be trapped in place now if you've put them on in the positions you like. That middle one's just dropped down a little bit. So that is what I would do. So you've got his hair flush, it looks natural down his thing, he's got the centre parting still, and then any strong old product, so a gel, this is more a putty, a wax I would think, something that's not going to dry out or make it too frizzy. This is another reason I'm doing it while the head's plastered down, because if you do it while it's loose, all you're doing is rubbing frizz into air. So all I'm going to do is get that on my finger and I'm going to just go sort of over the top of his hair, trying to keep the bands in place. So like that. Obviously I'm trying to do it fast because my battery's actually running out on my camera, so off camera I will tidy all this up. Try not to get it onto the skin obviously, and onto his outfit. Like here you can see the bottom of the hair is quite frizzy, you're getting that, Kaz. So put the product on, obviously the bands are trapping it in place. A bit too much on there. Might brush it through his hair. Like I said, try not to get the outfit because you don't want this, although it won't do it any harm. I think these gels are tested to go in people's eyes, so they're not going to be that caustic that they're going to fucking wreck a 1/6 scale figure's outfit. Like I said, put it through, make the hair look as fine looking as you can, and just spread it. So basically all you've done is painted the gel onto the surface of his hair. Fucking got a bit too much on my hands here. Like I said, just work it through the hair. Let it dry. If you think you've got too much, apply a bit of water which will wash that out. So obviously handle with care because you don't want to fuck your figure up. Try and get a nice even covering of the putty or gel or wax. You can see his head is still wrapped in the bands, and that is how we'll leave him. We'll give him 10 minutes to sort of, for the gel to soak into his hair, and then I'll show you what we'll do. Right, so we've now given it about 10 minutes, and instead of just grabbing the bands and pulling them off, because that'll rub up the hair and ruffle it up, what I want to do is, got a little pair of like surgical style scissors. We're going to get it in an area you don't want to scratch your facial paintwork. Cut that first band away. I don't want to cut his hair either, so cut that second band away. And because the other one's right under his neck, I'm going to have to get it back. Make sure you're not cutting no hair. And let that snap away. So now that gel has set the hair down in a natural looking position. You can obviously still mess about with it, but because it's become very pliable, and so pull the hair round onto the face more if you want. Sorry if my finger's in the way. But like I say, it's really set. If you're not happy with it, obviously, you can just dip it back in the warm water and redo it again. What I'm going to do is, before the review, I'm going to start messing about with this. So in the review, obviously, the movement of the pose, you should be able to pose the hair something like natural, I would think. But that is how I would suggest you do it. Others have already done it. Some have done it well. Some have hacked the hair to fucking death, and I don't like it. But like I say, that is what I would do. Obviously, you can still pose that. It's not. I'm not cut it at all. It is just styled. The longer sections of hair, I find that if you pull them more to the back, you would have more of a build-up of hair at the back, but it would look very natural down onto his cheekbones because he looks very sweaty-haired in a lot of the film. So, yep, that's the way I would do it. So for now, it's a Clipper King, and I'm out of here.